What?
Spills of my bourbon on myself. My shirt.
Can you tell me about the Sooners?
Are you recording?
No?
Oh.
Are we going to talk about the Sooners?
Are we going now?
Yeah, go now.
And what are we talking about?
How the Sooners came to be. What is the meaning of the word Sooners? Yeah.
So, have you ever seen the movie Far and Away? It's a great introduction. But basically, there was this whole amount of land somewhat west of the Mississippi, and somebody owned it. I don't know who. It wasn't Louisiana Purchase, I don't think. But basically, there was a big line of land that was unowned, and the president said, "You can have it," but they didn't know how to give it away because there was a bunch of land, and to be fair, they had to figure out a way to give it away. So they actually, and this is ridiculous, they had everyone line up on an actual physical line at some point, and I would assume it's in Oklahoma because it's us. Hold. And they had everyone line up in Oklahoma on the actual physical line, and everyone made these big, I'm getting my wavy, made these big camps with tents and stuff for days, and they would camp there until eventually they could go. And they camped there for a couple of days, and obviously there were a lot of people there because it's free land. You go out there and you put your flag down or your stake down or whatever, it's your land. You just get it. And probably some of it was Oklahoma, and all of it was Oklahoma, so yeah, good, bad, whatever. And so fine. But there were people, as people are wont to be, who were like, fuck this, I don't want to wait to do it. So some people, and we're getting back to, I promise we're getting back to the Boomer Center thing. Some people were there and they were like, well, I don't want to wait for all these douchebags, excuse my language, I don't want to wait for all these people to go, so they just went, which is, I mean, kind of awesome. There was a bunch of people who just went, and they just went, and they just put their sticks, they just put their sticks down, their stakes. They were just like, hey, so they just went, and everyone else was sitting there on the line. I mean, you heard this story before?
Was there a cannon?
Well, I haven't gotten that yet.
Oh, okay.
I figured it was a gun, but fine, it was a cannon. Well, all these people just went, and then all the other people were just sitting there, kind of looking stupid now. And I guess apparently it was a cannon. Sorry, I thought it was a gun, but it would have had to be multiple guns because there were a lot of people. Big line. So maybe there's probably multiple cannons because even one cannon isn't that loud. And they shot that cannon, and the people went out there and they were like, oh shit, I ran really fast. But this bro's still already here, and he's like lounging, he's like sitting in a hammock, looking at me like, you're a douchebag. And it's because he went the night before, because he was kind of awesome.
Because he's a Sooner.
And, the reason, and yes, Texas fans always said, oh jeez. Basically, the reason is the Boomers were the ones that just went out there and got it. They went out there and took their land.
Yeah, the Boomers were the ones after the cannon. The Sooners were the ones.
I don't need your help. I was just getting to that point. The Sooners were the ones that went out there and got their land. You're confusing me now. One of them is one or the other, but basically someone got their land and someone didn't. And we all got their land, but the people that went first were awesome. People that weren't were awesome. And it was basically the Oklahoma heritage. Was those people that went out there with like Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise did in that one flick that I haven't seen in a long time, so I hope that it's the same subject. And that's why it's Boomer Sooner. And that's why they're Sooners. Sooners are the people that went out there, prosperity and land rush and get your own future and dominate America.
Who were the Boomers?
Yeah. Everyone else.
After the cannon.
Everyone
And you guys have been cheaters ever since?
What's the next topic?
It was the last time you won the national championship.
So, the 1980s were a glorious period for the Sooners, late 70s and early 80s. It was a transitional period between a legend, Bud Wilkinson, and another legend, Barry Switzer. Barry dominated. He knew how to relate to players. Well, sometimes when you know how to sometimes when you really know how to relate to players, you become too close. And Barry may have become too close. And we had a risque situation where we had Charles Thompson on the cover of Sports Illustrated in a jumpsuit and cocaine or something, whatever. Basically, it didn't work out well. So new coaches came in. I don't even know. We had Schnellenberger, who is a legend in his own right. He didn't do good at OU, still a legend. Some other bro came in, whatever. Then John Blake came in. Terrible guy. Coach. Terrible coach. Whatever. Came in, he sucked. Cut them off. Get rid of them all. They all were terrible. And then, all of a sudden, I think Joe Castiglione was hired AD. Probably, because I'm pretty sure. And there was this young coach at Florida under Steve Spurrier that was making waves as a defensive coordinator. He was making waves, and it was at a school where the offense was a typical juggernaut, and the defense all of a sudden rose buck because he was a great defensive coordinator. And someone offered him a head coaching job, and it was Joe Castiglione, I think, or another AD, but one of the two. And he was like, well, I know defense, but I need an offense. Who should I hire? So he went to this guy at Kentucky who was kind of crazy, and his name was Mike Leach. So they went to Oklahoma, and one of them, I don't know who, probably Mike Leach, whatever, they're trying to find a quarterback, and they go to this place in Utah called Snow Junior College or Snow College or someplace in Utah. It doesn't matter, whatever else. And there's this guy with he's great, I love him, but he's got a little limp wrist throw. He can't even, he's not a power arm. If he was a recruit today, they'd be like, well, he's got a limp arm. But he just threw these little wobbly, sweet, goofy passes, and they recruit him. And he comes in 99, and all of a sudden OU does decent. I mean, they go 8-4, which isn't bad. Lose to I think it's Ole Miss in the bowl game. Maybe 8-5, whatever. But not great, but not pathetic like it was during John Blake's year or two. And then a lot of JUCO guys, but going to 2000, and they beat a couple teams. UTEP, I don't know who else, some other scrubs. And then there's they're maybe 2-0, 3-0. And there's this portion of the schedule that's like, holy shit. You've got Texas, Kansas State, and Nebraska that are all top 5. They're ridiculous. And OU goes in and beats every single one of them. And I say beats them, no offense. They start with Texas and they win 63-14. I think that's the right score. I'm pretty positive. It was one of the greatest moments of my life. And they beat the shit out of them. And then I think Nebraska was next, but maybe it was K-State. Whatever. K-State, irrelevant. We beat them. Nebraska, in Norman, one of the best games I've ever seen. The pass to the guy, the receiver, back to the quarterback. And then we beat K-State at some point. We beat one of all the other games. Oh, A&M. Torrance Marshall intercepts the pass, runs it back in College Station. Fuck those guys. Really fuck those guys. And then we play Kansas State again in the Big 12 Championship. Take care of those guys. Again, fuck them. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, these guys didn't even knew who they were in the national championship. They're playing Florida State. Chris Winkie. Really good guy. He's 35 years old. And then, so, Chris Winkie won the Heisman over Josh Heupel. Chris Winkie was number 1. Josh Heupel was number 2. And best moment of it all times, Torrance Marshall, when the coin is flipped, says to Chris Winkie, "We'll get my boys' trophy back." 13-2. We all know what happens next. National championship. That's it. That's how the Sooners became champions of the world.
So, who was the last person to win national championship? Was it Texas or was it Oklahoma?
Alabama won last year's championship.
But who won Texas or Oklahoma? What was the last one?
Oklahoma beat Texas last year.
No, who won the last national championship between Texas and Oklahoma?
They never played in the national championship. Most recently, is that what you're asking?
Mm-hmm.
Texas won.